Okay, well, welcome back, everybody. And we've been asked to do a little bit longer video for this. You've obviously saw the short, but wanted to just talk for a little bit about tomatoes, tomato varieties, and why we grow what we've grown. I'm going on probably close to 15 plus years of growing and saving and doing all the fun stuff that people do with tomatoes. We obviously eat them fresh. We do sun-dried tomatoes. We do tomato powder. We do tomato paste. We use tomato sauce. We make tomato soup. We make salsa. We make spaghetti sauce. You name it. We do a lot with our tomatoes. We even freeze dry our cherry tomatoes. So over the years, I'm a guy that likes variety, and I've tried a whole lot of stuff. And again, I've tried to stick with heirloom and non-GMO type varieties because I do like to save the seeds, and especially if they work well for me. So I just wanted to talk about a few of the varieties that you can see here. For cherry tomatoes, I know I kind of get in trouble with this because they can produce like crazy, but I do like to have varieties. I do like my Sun Gold. It's a really yummy orange cherry. We got the Napa Chardonnay. This is a phenomenal blush, like a white cherry tomato. Hands down, favorite fresh eating. Just dunk it in some ranch and put it in your mouth. Is this guy here, Prairie Fire? This tomato is amazing. It is more grape shaped, so it's a little bit bigger than the cherry tomato, but the flavor and texture is phenomenal on this. And you can see I get it from Baker Creek. This is rareseeds.com. They got a lot of great tomatoes. I do like a purple. I either do the black Brandywine or the black Krim. I do like Dr. Weish's yellow. It says yellow, but it's actually an orange tomato, so that kind of checks the box for orange. We do like the yellow pork chop. This is one from Brad Gates over at Wild Boar Farms. Yellow pork chop is a delicious slicer. They get, pretty good size. Put it on a sandwich. Also, this is more for novelty. I do like to grow this black beauty. They're not a huge tomato, but they absolutely, when ripe, are literally nearly black on the outside, and they get red on the inside. You can tell they're ripe because on the bottom you can see the red. But a really delicious tomato. A couple days on the counter, they get a really deep flavor. I like this Get Stuffed tomato. These are seeds that I've saved, but Get Stuffed is the name. It's a hollow tomato, so it grows like a tomato, but on the inside is hollow. So like you would do a chili relleno, we do a tomato relleno. So we'll fill it with some ground beef, some beans, a little bit of cheese, and the kids love it. They don't love the peppers so much that way, but they do love this Get Stuffed to do it that way. So that's a very specific use on that one. This is a new one my son picked out. It's a Sartre Rolois. It is a yellow kind of beefsteak type tomato with the purple blush. Really delicious tomato. We've grown it for a few years now. Um, to hit the white category, Brad Gates again over at Wild Boar. He grows this tomato, Pineapple Pig. I've been saving this for, I don't know, probably 8 or 9 years now. But Pineapple Pig is a great white tomato. Really juicy, really yummy. We do a chocolate cherry. My favorite, and this one is a surprise for a lot of people. It's called Doctor's Green. It's a cherry tomato that's green. And it throws people off because they say they can't tell, but you absolutely can tell when these guys are ripe. And it is such a delicious cherry tomato. So, again, I could keep going with tomato varieties. Truly, I literally have grown probably a couple hundred different varieties. These are just some of my favorites. And then, I guess, kind of, you'll see I have the space in the middle. I have this tomato. I got it off, I want to say Etsy, probably 10 or 12 years ago. I think it was a Ukrainian variety. I thought it was Russian initially, but my brother speaks Russian. He said, nope, that's not Russian, that's Ukrainian. And the closest translation we could get, that was something close to called Raspberry Courage. I don't know if that's what it meant, but this variety has been hands down the favorite variety that I grow. And so we save a lot of space. So again, this Raspberry Courage is a beefsteak tomato. They can get huge. They don't split. There's no seeds. It's not really juicy, so it can do great for slicing, putting on sandwiches. Great to make paste with. They're huge. And I literally have given these to friends and family, different varieties, and without fail, every single person's like, that is my favorite. I had a buddy of mine whose son grew one, and they took it and won a blue ribbon at the county fair with this variety. So I'm sorry, I don't know what it's really called. This is the translation we got. We call it raspberry courage, but it's a phenomenal, it's a pink beefsteak tomato, and I'll absolutely post some videos of it later this year when these guys are growing. But again, you grow what you're going to use. So I would tell people, think about what you want to do with your tomatoes. If you want fresh eating, there's kind of a certain type of tomato for that. If you want sauce or salsa, there's tomatoes for that. So if you're new to this, just understand that not all tomatoes, just like any other fruit or vegetable, they're not all created equal. They've been kind of grown and developed and selected for certain attributes and purposes, and you learn that as you grow. So again, I'm happy if you want to drop some questions, comments in the section down below. We'll get to that. But I just wanted to have kind of a Q&A, pre-Q&A on why I grow what I grow. I've just tested a lot of them. These are the ones that I like, and I like variety of color and purpose. So we're going to go ahead now and get started on planting these seedlings and get these suckers growing. All right, so here we are. We've gotten started with this. We've got our potting soil mix. If you're hardcore, you mix your own. If you're not, just make sure you get a good organic potting soil or starting mix. You don't want to start with anything but this, because otherwise it'll get moldy, gross on you. But what you see we'll do, we don't bury them super deep. I'll do some covering on this, but what I like to do is in this particular size of cell, I'll put a couple seeds, maybe 2 or 3, just to make sure that I get at least one that germinates. And then what I'll see other people do is they'll, wrap them in a paper towel and let them germinate. And that way they know they start. This way is easier for me. And then what I'll do is once these have started and I have my little starts, I'll actually cut off the 2 that are kind of weaker looking, and I'll just stick with one as I pot them up. But you'll see that I've got multiple varieties here. I'll end up with probably close to 50 or 60 starts. I'll put probably half of that in my garden, and I'll give the rest away to neighbors and whoever. So again, it's up to you, but this is just an easy way for us where we put a couple in each one. And then obviously you want to make sure that you've got your little markers here that you know what you've got. But yeah, almost to the next step. And then what we'll do is put water on them and put them under the grow lights on a heating pad. Okay, and so here's kind of the final step. You just put a light covering of the potting mix, planting mix here on top of this. Pat it down a little bit. You don't want it super deep. The seedlings need to be able to find their way out, but we'll cover each one of these. We'll fill this with water, and then again, we'll put it under some LED grow lights and a little heating mat. You can get them on Amazon. Now, one of the last things you'll want to be careful of is when you put these on a grow or a heating mat with grow lights, they can get what we call leggy. So the sprouts will start to grow and grow and grow because it's an environment where there's no adverse conditions, and they get really weak. And then if you try to plant them outside, they'll die. So there are some steps. I'll post this later on in a video when we're getting ready to do that part. But right now we're trying to get these things to germinate, sprout, and then we'll go from there. Again, questions, comments, go ahead and drop them down below. It's great having you.